Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Ahmed عنتر and this is Mathematics Small Mind channel. So now we will talk about Accumulative Test 9 in المعاصر book, and this test is still lesson 9, which is talking about the applications on the real numbers, which are the applications on the shapes like the cube and the cuboid, the circle, the sphere, and the right circular cylinder, and the rules of them, which was talking about the lateral surface area, the total surface area, and the volume, and the area from face. So now before you get this accumulative test and before solving anything on this test, you must to save all of these rules, and you have rules like them in your book or something else like that. So now we have a page like that. All of the rules that you want are in this page, and if you want to get this page, tell me, then I'll send it to you. So now let us go for the first question in this accumulative test. So now the first question is talking about the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi cubic centimeters, then its radius. So now you need the radius. So if you want to get the radius, firstly he gave you the volume of the sphere equals 4/3 pi. Then the rule of the volume of the sphere equals what? The rule of the volume of sphere, yes, this is the sphere, so the volume is 4/3 pi r power of 3. So now 4/3 pi r power of 3 equals 4/3 pi. And now you can delete pi with pi and 4/3 with 4/3. So now the remainder is r power of 3. R power of 3 now equals 1. So take the cubic root for the both sides, then r equals 1. So if you search for the 1 in the choices, then you haven't 1, but you have 4/3 power of 0, and we know before that any number to the power of 0 equals 1, so this is the correct choice. The next one, if the volume of the cube is 512 cubic centimeters, then the perimeter of one face. So now in the sphere the password was the r, the radius, and in the cube the password is the l, the side length. So you want to get the side length of the cube firstly, and you can get the side length of the cube from the rule of the volume, because you have the volume equals 512 cubic centimeters. So now firstly we will get the length of the cube from the volume. We knew that the volume equals 512 cubic centimeters. So now you can write the rule of the volume, which is the volume of what? The volume of the cube, L times L times L, or L power of 3 equals 512, and then get the cubic root for the volume. The cubic root for 512 equals 8 centimeters by the calculator. So now you want to get the perimeter of one face now. So we are in the cube, so the face is a square. Then you want to get the perimeter of the square. The perimeter of the square equals side length times 4. The side length equals 8. 8 times 4 equals 32. And this is the correct choice. Letter C. The next one, the dimensions of a cuboid are √2, √3, and √6. So now then the volume of the cuboid equals length times width times height, or x times y times z, something like that. All of the dimensions times each other. So √2 times √3 times √6. And we took before that if you have a root times a root, then you can take only one root and you can multiply all of these numbers together. 2 times 3 times 6. 2 times 3 equals 6. 6 times 6 equals 36. And then √36 equals 6. And you can solve it by many ways instead of this way. So now √2, the next question, cubic root 2 plus cubic root 2 equals 2 cubic root 2. Then, but if you search for cubic root 2, this answer in these choices, then you will not find the answer. But you can make a simplifying, or you can change the form of this answer to get one of the choices, like that. Like you can bring the 2 inside the cubic root by powering 3 it. So now 2 power 3 equals 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. Then 8 times 2 inside the cubic root equals 16. So now it's cubic root of 16, and this is the first choice. Okay. After that, A equals root 7 plus 4, B equals root 7 minus 4, then AB. These are two conjugate numbers. We have studied that if we want to multiply any two conjugate numbers, then we'll get the square of the first minus the square of the second. So the square of the first, root 7 power of 2, minus the square of the second, 4 power of 2. Root 7 power of 2 equals 7, and 4 power of 2 equals 16. 7 minus 16 equals negative 9. R positive means the positive number. So now we want to get the positive number intersection -1 and 3. So we want to get the common factors or the common elements between these sets. So here these are the positive numbers, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, and also all of the numbers between these numbers, all the numbers between 0 and 1, all of the numbers between 1 and 2, all of the numbers between 2 and 3, and all of the fractions, all of the square roots and cubic roots, something like that. So we can express it by the interval now. So the positive numbers. So now the next question is talk about the R positive intersect the interval -1 and 3. So we want to get the intersection between these two sets. So we want to get the common elements between these two sets, and the common elements are the positive numbers in these two sets, because this is R positive. So the positive numbers are this interval is talking about -1 to 3, so it's -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and all of the numbers between them actually. So now we can get from 1 to 3 only, because these are the even numbers, sorry, the positive numbers, because we want to get the intersection between these two sets. So we want to get the positive numbers only. So the positive numbers are 1, 2, 3, and you can express it by many ways. If you want to get a choice from these choices, you log these, or all of these choices are 0, 3, 0, 3, 0, 3. So if you want to express this set by 0 and 3, so you want to get 0. 0 is an open, because 0 is not a positive number. So 0 is neither positive nor negative. So but we will take 3 with us. So now it's 0 and 3. 0 is open interval, and 3 is the closed interval on this choice. A right circular cylinder whose base area is 20 cubic centimeter and its volume is 80 cubic centimeter, then its height. So now you have the base area and the volume, and you want to get the height. The right cylinder, so the volume of anything equals area of base, or base area, times height, which is equals pi r power of 2h, correct? So pi r power of 2 is area of the base. So if you have that the area of the base is 20, so you can delete these. You can write 20 instead of it. And also you have the volume is 80. So now you can make a relation or an equation between these two sides. So 80, which is the volume, equals 20h. So you can get the 20 by into the other side by the division. So now 80 divided by 20, 0 is 0, 8 divided by 2 equals 4. So h equals 4 centimeters. And this is the correct answer. A sphere and the cylinder are equal in volume, and their radii are equal in length, then the height of the cylinder equals what? The radius of the sphere. So we have a cylinder and we have a sphere and we have equal volume. We have equal radii. So now if we want to get the volume of the sphere and the volume of the cylinder, then they are equal. The volume of the sphere, we want to go to the rules. This is the sphere. The volume of the sphere 4 over 3 by r power of 3. The volume of the cylinder by r power of 2h. So now 4 over 3 pi r power of 3 equals pi r power of 2h. And he told you that the radii of the two solids are equal. So now you can delete this r with this r. So now 4 over 3 pi r equals pi h by with pi. So now we have deleted this 2 with 2 from these 3, so the remainder is 1, which is the one which is on the r. So now it's 4 over 3 r equals h, then h is 4 over 3 r, and this is the relation that you want, 4 over 3, which is the last choice. Now we have in this question, find the height of a right circular cylinder whose height, find the height of the right circular cylinder whose height is equals to the base radius length of the volume is and its volume is 64 pi. So now you have the volume, and also you have that the height is equals to the radius. So you have the volume and you have that the radius equals to the height, and then you want to get the height. If you got the radius, then you got actually the height. So now let's take it in another page like that. Find the height of a right circular cylinder whose height is equals to its base radius length and its volume equals 64 pi. So now you can solve this question by the volume. Volume rule equals 64 pi. The volume rule, we are in the right cylinder, so the right cylinder, its volume equals 4 over 3. Sorry, the right cylinder pi r power of 2h equals 64 pi. Delete pi with pi, and this is a relation between the height and the radius. Height is the same of the radius, so you can delete the radius and you can write the height instead of the radius. So now it's h power of 2h, and there is a multiplication between them, so it's h power of 3 equals 64. Then you can take the cubic root. Now h equals 4 centimeters, and from h you can get anything another. So sorry, he needs h itself. Okay, the next question, you have the x and you have the y, and then firstly you want to prove that the x, y, and y are two conjugate numbers. Then find the value of x and y. So you have the x equals 4 over root 7 minus root 3. You want firstly to simplify this this fraction to get an answer in the denominator. Then you can multiply it by its conjugate as a fraction, the numerator and the denominator, with a positive sign, because here there is a negative sign. So now if you want to multiply these denominator together, so you multiply two conjugate numbers. The square of the first equals 7 minus the square of the second, which is equals 3. So 7 minus 3 equals 4. And there is here 4. And there is here root 7 plus root 3 in bracket. So now 4 root 7 plus root 3. You can simplify 4 with 4. And now the answer is root 7 plus root 3. from this answer, this is x, and you knew before that the y equals root 7 minus root 3. From these two answers, 2 and 1, since x equals and since y equals, then x and y are two conjugate numbers. As you knew before, the two conjugate numbers are two numbers having the same values. A is the same A, P is the same of P, and you have different signs here, one positive and one negative, then they are two conjugate numbers. And you want to get x, y, so then xy means x times y means root 7 minus root 3 times root 7 plus root 3. So now these are to conjugate, and you want to multiply them to get the power of the first, root 7 power of 2, minus the power of the second. So the square of the first minus the square of the second, root 3 power of 2. So it's 7 minus 3, which is equal 4. The next question, the volume of the sphere is 36 pi, calculate surface area. So now, in the sphere, in the cylinder, in the circle, the password of any question is the radius. So now in any question of these questions about any shape of these shapes, you want to get the radius firstly. So you have the volume, from the volume you can get the radius. The volume equals 36 pi, and we knew before that the volume of the sphere, we are in the sphere here, the volume of the sphere is 4 over 3 pi r power of 3 equals 36 pi. You can delete pi with pi. Now it's 4 over 3 r power of 3 equals 36. You can divide by 4 over 3. Now r power of 3 equals, I think by the calculator, 36 divided by 4 over 3, now 36 times 3 over 4 divided by 4 1 divided by 4 9, 9 times 3 equals 27. So now r power of 3 equals 27. Then you can take the cubic root, then radius equals 3 centimeters. This is the radius, and by the radius you can get anything that you want. Since the radius equals 3 centimeters, then the surface area of this sphere, its rule is 4 pi r power of 2, which is equals 4 times r power of 2 equals 3 power of 2, and this is the pi, because you want the answer in terms of pi, so you can delete the pi, or don't replace the pi with any other value. So let it itself like that. So now 4 times 3 power of 2, 3 power of 2 equals 9, 4 times 9 equals 36 pi centimeter square, and this is the area of the sphere. And be focused that the area is with centimeter square and the volume was by the centimeter cubes, so they have the same numbers but with different units, as they are the volume and the surface area, So now we have the last question in this accumulative test. Root 125, cubic root 250, half of the cubic root of 16, and the square root of 20. And you want to simplify this question into the simplest form. So now you have many ways to solve this question. As you know, there is a way, and I'll solve by one way from them, like right now. So now 125 minus cubic root 250 plus half cubic root 16 plus root 20. So you have two cubic roots and two square roots here, like that. So you will simplify these square roots together and these cubic roots together. So in these questions, you are looking for numbers multiply each other to get one of them under the square root to have a value out of the square root, like that you can get 125 factors 125 as it's 25 times 5, so you can get the root of 25 and the root of 5 together, so root 25 equals 5 and root 5 is still itself, so now it's 5 root 5. And what about 20 is the same, you can simplify it, you can get the factors of 20 as you can get 4 times 5, you can get 20, you can get it as 10 times 2 or 20 times 1 or 4 times 5, but the only two factors that you can put one of them under the square root and then you can get a value or another value or an answer out the square root is the 4, because the square root of 4 is 2. So now I'll get the factors of 20 as 4 and 5, so you will get the square root of 4 and the square root of 5, so the square root of 4 is 2 and the square root of 5 is square root 5 itself, so now it's 2 root 5 and 5 root 5, and now they are alike because root 5 is the same of root 5, you can simplify them together, but wait for getting these values also. 250 you can get it as 125 times 2, so it's cubic root of 125 and the cubic root of 2. Cubic root of 125 is 5 and cubic root of 2 is cubic root of 2 itself. And about this question you can make it by many ways. I think that the easier way for me is to get the factor of 16 as 8 times 2, then cubic root of 2 itself, cubic root of 8 equals 2, so now there is 2 and simplify 2 with this half, so 2 delete with 2 will delete it with 2, and now you have cubic root of 2 itself. But be focused for the signs here, there is a negative sign here and there is a positive sign here and there is a positive sign here. Now cubic root of 2 means 1 cubic root 2, so 5 root 5 plus 2 root 5, 5 plus 2 equals 7 root 5, negative root 5 plus 1, sorry, negative 5 cubic root 2 plus 1 cubic root 2, negative 5 plus 1 equals negative 4, so now it's negative 4 cubic root 2, and this is the simplest form. You can solve it by many ways, as I have told you before. So now also you can solve it by the factorization. 125 divided by 5 equals 25, divided by 5 equals 5, divided by 5 equals 1. So now these three values, so now you can get these three values because this is the square root of 125, not the cubic root, so you will get only two values. Out of the square root there is 5, and this one will go under the square root. This is the first one. 250, this is the cubic root, so you are searching for three values like each other. 250 divided by 2 equals 125, divided by 5 equals 25, divided by 5 equals 5, divided by 5 equals 1, and you know that you are dividing by the prime factors only. So these are three values as you searching for the cubic root. So now you can get them outside the root 5 and then root 2 under the cubic root. This is the second value, and also there is half, don't forget the half, and there is cubic root of 16 besides the half. You can get the factorization of 16 divided by 2 equals 8, divided by 2 equals 4, divided by 2 equals 2, divided by 2 equals 1. So now you can get these three values because this is the cubic root. You can get these three values out of the cubic root, and then this 2 will be inside the cubic root, and the last one, root 20, you can get 20 divided by 2 equals 10 divided by 2 equals 5, 5 divided by 5 equals 1. So this is a square root, then you are searching for two values to go get them out the square root. So now 2 out of the square root, and there is 5 is a remainder inside the square root. So now you have 5 root 5 and 2 root 5, with them is 7 root 5 as we have said by the other way, and also 5 root cubic root 2 and 2 cubic root 2. There is a negative sign here, and there is a positive sign here, and there is a positive sign here. So now negative 5 plus sorry, there is half here, so now the half beside the 2 is 2, so now it's 1 cubic root 2. So negative 5 minus negative 5 plus 1 equals negative 4, so now it's negative 4 cubic root 2, and this is the final answer. Also, this part you can do it by many ways, as I'll show you now. So half cubic root 16, we have solved it by another way in this in the other ways before some seconds in this question, and now you can get another way, as you can get the half itself inside the square root by powering it by 3. So now you can make half times half times half 3 times. Half times half times half equals 1 over 8. So now you can write it as cubic root 1 over 8 times 16, and you can write it as also cubic root of 16 over 8, which is equals cubic root of 2. And this is the final answer also, as we have get it cubic root of 2. So now this is the final of this accumulative test, and we have solved it all of the tests together. If you want to ask anything, send to me, and then I'll answer you, and that's enough. السلام عليكم.